It's a indirect method for FM demodulation, right? So in this under okay, so I think someone was trying to join in. I'll just yeah yeah fine. Okay. So this is indirect method for FM demodulation. So PLL it is, as in name suggests, it's phase locked loop, right? It's phase lock loop. So if you ask me what are the applications of PLL, right? So it can be used for frequency synchronization. So maybe, right, it can be used for frequency synchronization, and it can be used for frequency division, right? Suppose you have a 1000 hertz signal. If you want to get a 500 hertz signal from that, right, you can use PLL. And even for frequency multiplication, right? And it can be used for frequency modulation also, right? Frequency modulation and also for frequency demodulation. So these are the applications of PLL. It can be used for synchronization. I request everyone to make a note of what I'm writing here. Maybe I'll go a bit slow, right? You take down as a note, right? So that it will be easy for you to prepare for exam, right? So these are the applications. So basically, if you ask me what is phase lock loop, it's a negative feedback. It's a negative feedback system, right? It's a negative feedback system, right? So and it mainly consists of say three major components, right? It has three major components. So initially, what I'm going to discuss is, right, components, right? So it's a negative feedback system with three major components. You know what is a negative feedback system? You have studied it in control system, right? So you have actually what a forward gain, it can be G of S, and a reverse, like a feedback gain H of S, right? So if the it's a negative feedback, so that's actually what a negative feedback system. So similarly, the basic block diagram of a PLL, right? It's that of a negative feedback system, right? So I'll just draw the basic diagram. So I told it has three major components. So first one is a multiplier, right? It has a multiplier. Then it has a loop filter, and it has a VCO, which is connected in voltage controlled oscillator. So the basic block diagram of PLL, right? It has a multiplier. So if it is a multiplier, it expects actually what two inputs. One of its input will be our FM signal S of t, right? And we'll see what is the other input, right? So we have there is a multiplier, right? And after multiplication, we'll be getting an error signal, say E of t, and that is given to a loop filter, right? That is given to a loop filter, right? And this is our output. Say maybe output I will call actually what V of t. Sorry, V of t, right? So now as we have this feedback, right? So feedback is taken right from this output, right? And this feedback is given through a VCO. Do you know what is a VCO? VCO, it's a voltage controlled oscillator. So this is a basic mathematical model of PLL, right? So this is not how we implement a PLL. This is the idea of what PLL is, right? So this is the first thing you should learn. So basically it has three components. One is a multiplier, right? To the multiplier, one of the inputs is our FM signal S of t, and other input will be our PLL output V of t, right, which is applied to a voltage controlled oscillator, and I can call it actually what this we'll call it as R of t, right? So what actually is this VCO? It is a voltage controlled oscillator, right? VCO is a voltage controlled oscillator. What does that mean? So VCO basically is an oscillator which produces actually what sinusoid output. So it's a sinusoid generator, right? VCO, maybe I can write it's a sine generator, sinusoid generator, right? So how it will, what does a, as the name suggests, it's voltage controlled oscillator. Its oscillation is controlled by the input voltage. So depending upon the control voltage given at the input of VCO. So this VCO's input is this V of t, right? Depending upon the control voltage, the frequency of oscillation of VCO will change. That is actually how a VCO works. So it's a voltage controlled oscillator. What does that mean? The frequency of oscillation changes with respect to control voltage. Maybe I can write it here, right? Frequency of oscillation right depends on control voltage. So when I say control voltage, that is the voltage input given to a VCO, right? So basically VCO, it's like a frequency modulator. Depending upon the amplitude of the input, frequency of the output will change, right? So this is a basic setup of VCO. But now the basic setup of PLL. But now you should remember what is meant by frequency demodulation, right? For that, maybe we'll have to quickly recollect what is frequency modulation, right? So anyone remember what is this S of t, frequency modulated signal, right? I'm not asking many questions, right? Maybe I'll only write. So this S of t, this FM signal, it will be, say, if I'm writing it as AC, sine or cos, anything I can write. But here for this PLL, I'm writing it as sine. There is a reason, right? I'll tell it later, right? This AC sine 2 pi FCT plus, say, I'll call it actually what? Phi 1 of t, right? AC sine 2 pi FCT plus phi 1 of t. This is how we can represent the FM signal, right? This is how we can represent the FM signal. And this phi 1 of t in turn will be a function of message. We know that, right? So phi 1 of t will be this 2 pi kf integral 0 to t m of tau d tau, right? So if forgot how it came, nothing. A frequency modulation, what happens is frequency of the carrier is changed with respect to the message, right? So what is frequency? If you consider this entire thing as the theta angle of the sinusoid, right? Frequency is defined as d theta by dt, d by dt of d theta, right? So this will be proportional to kf. This will be equal to kf into m of t. So when you integrate on both sides, you will get actually what? The phase to be equal to 2 pi kf into m of tau d tau. This is what, right? So this is our FM modulated signal, and the information lies within this phi 1 of t, right? Demodulation means you have to get back the original message signal from S of t. That is demodulation. Are you able to follow me? Am I going fast or am I going too slow? Are you able to connect with what I'm telling? Yes, right? Okay. So please try to take down notes which I'm telling. So some of the things in textbook they have directly given, right? So I may give you some hints so that you will be able to appreciate it in a better way, or you will be able to remember it in a better way. So please do take down notes along with me. So if you want me to slow down, right, you can ask me, or if you want me to repeat, right, you can ask me to repeat. Why? Because it's a sure question for your university exam, right? So till here, so we remember this. We just recollected what is FM signal, and we have just seen what is meant by demodulation. So by demodulation, what we need to do is this phi 1 of t has the information of message. So we should get back this phi 1 of t, right? We should get back this phi 1 of t. So in direct method, which used frequency discriminator, what we did, so when we differentiated S of t with respect to time, so if it is sine, it will become cos. And as this theta is a function of time, again, actually what derivative of that theta again will come. So that will give us m of t back as, right. So that was direct method. So in indirect method, we'll be using actually what PLL. So this S of t is given as one of the inputs of this multiplier, right? And now we'll see how can we represent this VCO output, voltage control oscillator. So for VCO, V of t is the input, right? And its output, right? Its output frequency is dependent upon input voltage. So VCO output also we can write something of this form, right? Sine of 2 pi FCT something, right? So VCO output also we can write in this form. We'll see what is that. So before that, right? Before we even start, right, discussing, right, there are certain uh, this requisites, right? This initially, if you are not giving any voltage to this, if you are not giving any control voltage to this VCO, suppose this VCO input is 0, right? If the VCO input is 0, right, so then that is actually, or it's free running frequency or whatever, right? So VCO output when control voltage is 0, right? That should be equal to the frequency equal to carrier frequency, right? That is one requirement, right? So we are assuming initially we have adjusted the VCO so that, right, when control voltage is 0, two conditions are satisfied. So that those two conditions I'll write here, right? I'll write those two conditions here. That is very important, right? So initially, right, initially when control voltage is 0, what do you mean by control voltage is 0? When no input is given to this VCO, right, is 0, we are assuming two conditions are satisfied. So that is very important, right? If you know that, then only you will be able to write the expression for V of t. Then if you can write the expression for V of t, then PLL actually what becomes very simple, right? So first condition is, right, the frequency of VCO, right, is precisely set at the unmodulated carrier frequency. When control voltage is 0, right, when control voltage is 0, FVCO should be equal to FC, right? I have written it like this, right? So when control voltage is 0, when no, so this is our VCO, right? So this is V of t, right? Which means V of t is equal to 0, right? So let FVCO be the frequency of VCO output, right? So first case is when control voltage is 0, FVCO is equal to FC, right? That is first case. Right. Second assumption is, right, VCO output has 90-degree phase shift with respect to unmodulated carrier frequency. This, what is this FC? FC is nothing but what? Unmodulated or carrier frequency, right? This FC, right? That FC is nothing but what? Unmodulated carrier frequency. When carrier is not modulated, what is the frequency? That is the unmodulated carrier frequency. So when V of t is equal to 0, control voltage is 0, frequency of oscillation of VCO should be equal to FC, and the VCO output has 90-degree phase shift with respect to carrier, right? Which means if carrier is sine 2 pi FCT, right? If carrier is sine 2 pi FCT, then VCO output should be cos 2 pi FCT. That is, there is a 90-degree phase shift. Are you able to read what I am writing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So, right. So these are the two assumptions, right? So I'll go slowly. You just note it down, right? No hurry, right? So initially, when control voltage is 0, frequency of oscillation of VCO, that will be exactly same as that of unmodulated carrier frequency, right? And VCO output has 90-degree phase shift with respect to carrier, which means here I have assumed the carrier to be equal to a carrier as a sinusoid, right? So then the VCO output I can represent as a cosinusoid. That's it. That is the only different. So these are the assumptions, right? So based on these two assumptions, we are going to write the right. So what is VCO output is R of t, right? VCO output as per our diagram it is R of t, right? VCO output as per our diagram is R of t. Maybe I can draw that diagram once again, right? Not a problem. So what we have now is we have a multiplier. To one end of multiplier we are giving S of t, that is our FM signal. We know what is FM signal now. Here we are giving R of t. R of t is nothing but what? Our VCO output, right? VCO output, sorry, right? So we have a loop filter, right? We have a loop filter. As of now we don't know what is this loop filter, right? But we will find out what should be this loop filter and all, right? We have a loop filter and we have this V of t, and this V of t is fed back, right, through a VCO to this multiplier, and here the signal is E of t, right? And suppose the impulse response of this loop filter, you can assume it as actually what? H of t. So this is our VCO, right? So S of t we have already written AC sine 2 pi FCT plus phi 1 of t, and this phi 1 of t was in turn 2 pi kf into integral 0 to t m of tau d tau. So we already know that. Now we should write what is this R of t, right? So we have these two conditions, right? So when control voltage is 0, VCO frequency should be FC, and VCO output has 90-degree phase shift with respect to carrier. So keeping that in mind, we can write R of t. The VCO output can be written as R of t can be written as AV, where AV is actually what? It's amplitude of VCO output, right? AV times cos. Why it is cos? Why? Because if this is sine, right? If carrier frequency is represented as sine, it should be represented as cos. Why? Because there is 90-degree phase shift, right? Then cos 2 pi FCT plus phi 2 of t, right? So AV cos 2 pi FCT plus phi 2 of t. So this phi 2 of t should represent dependence of this V of t, right? This phi 2 of t will change with respect to V of t, or the entire frequency of this should change with respect to V of t. So we can write phi 2 of t. Phi 2 of t can be written as, right, say 2 pi kV. So here we have written 2 pi kf, where kf was frequency sensitivity of FM modulator, right? So here 2 pi kV, here it is actually what? Sensitivity of VCO, right? It's actually what? Frequency sensitivity of the VCO. We can call it frequency sensitivity of VCO. Integral 0 to t V of tau d tau, right? So this is phi 2 of t. So we have this S of t and R of t. These two are getting multiplied, right? So now my question is, till here are you able to appreciate what we have discussed? I've discussed nothing much, right? I've told what is S of t and what is R of t, right? Next, what we should do is this S of t and R of t should get multiplied. That should be passed through a loop filter, right? So before that, are you able to appreciate till here? Whether you're all able to note down what I mentioned till here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right? So nothing much is there, right? Everything is pretty much straightforward, right? Okay. Now, shall we continue? Right. So now what happens is, what this PLL does, it multiplies S of t and R of t, right? S of t is AC sine something, and R of t is AV cos something. So what will be, one second, cos A sine B or sine A cos B, right? If you multiply sinusoids which are 90-degree out of phase, it will be one sine and one cos. What does cos A sine B? It will be half sine of A plus B, right, plus half sine of A minus B, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right. So this is why I've told two conditions, right? One is when control voltage is 0, frequency of oscillation should be equal to FC, right? That is one. Second condition is they should be 90-degree out of phase. This is why we want to assume VCO output and S of t and the carrier are 90-degree out of phase, so that when we multiply, I'll get sine of sum and difference angles, right? Sine of sum and difference angles we'll get, right? So shall we just multiply S of t and R of t now? What we'll get if you multiply S of t and R of t, right? If you see S of t is AC sine 2 pi FCT plus phi 1 of t, and R of t is AV cos 2 pi FCT plus phi 2 of t, right? So if you multiply these two, we'll get half sine sum and difference we'll get, right? Half sine of sum and difference frequencies we'll get. Yes or no?
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Yes. Okay. So that's what the basic thing. So now E of t will have two components, right? E of t will have two components, right? One is some frequency component or high frequency component, right? That will be high frequency component will be right. So suppose this multiplier you suppose it has some gain km, right? Suppose this multiplier has some gain km, right? Whatever it is. So then it will have a E of t, that is S of t into R of t, the high frequency part of it, right? The sum part of it, that will be equal to, if you see, that's km is actually what, nothing but gain of the multiplier. Then we have AC AV, right? AC AV, then sine. So what we'll get, 2 pi FCT plus 2 pi FCT will be 4 pi FCT. That is actually what, high frequency, 4 pi FCT, plus we have phi 1 of t and phi 2 of t, right? Phi 1 of t plus phi 2 of t. So this is the sum part, right? This is the sum part of E of t, and the difference part or low frequency part will be, right? What will be difference of this? 2 pi FCT minus 2 pi FCT will be 0. Then what we have is phi 1 of t minus phi 2 of t. So same thing, what we have is km into AC, sorry, AV sine phi 1 of t minus phi 2 of t. So here we are getting actually what, phi 1 of t minus phi 2 of t, right? So here it's high frequency and here we have low frequency. So the basic idea is when you multiply two sinusoids, you will get sum and difference, right? If they are 90-degree out of phase, we both sine A and sine A minus B, right? So this is actually what this low frequency part is, the signal of our interest. Maybe what we can do is we can discard this filter. Basically, sorry, it's a low pass filter. It discards this part, high frequency part. It actually what, discards this high frequency part, right? Only this one will be left out, right? So this E of t is high frequency part we don't have to consider, only low frequency part we have to consider. This H of t, right? So in other words, this H of t, if you take Fourier transform of that, it will provide gain only to low frequency part. High frequency part it will completely eliminate, or it will not, it will provide only less gain, right? So that's why, so this E of t, right, we don't have to consider this part of E of t, right? We have to consider only difference part of E of t, right? So that is the idea, right? So we can write E of t to be equal to, right, E of t to be equal to this phi 1 of t minus phi 2 of t. I'll be using it as actually what, phi E of t, right? So what will be our E of t now? E of t we can write, it will be Km, where Km is nothing but what, the gain of our product module or multiplier, right? AC, AV, then sine of pi E of t. So this is our E of t now. This is our E of t. So is this clear how we got this E of t? Right. So we, if you multiply, you will get sum and difference. So high frequency part we can discard. Why? Because whatever loop filter we have, right, it will allow only low frequency, right? So now what we should do is this E of t we should pass through the loop filter. we should pass through the loop filter so that the output is V of t. Right, we have to pass it through the loop filter so that the output will be V of t. So this loop filter, again, it is an actually what linear time invariant system, right? Loop filter is a linear time invariant system, right? So then what will be V of t? If you give E of t as input to an LTI system which has impulse response H of t, what will be the output? It will be, can anyone tell me that? You are giving E of t as input to an LTI system with impulse response H of t. What will be its output? It's nothing but what convolution. So, right. So this V of t, now I can write V of t should be equal to E of t convolved with H of t. V of t is equal to E of t convolved with H of t. Right. So what is this convolution? This convolution actually what in time domain it can be represented as an integral. So that will be nothing but what integral minus infinity to infinity, right? Minus infinity to infinity E of tau into H of t minus tau d tau. This is what is convolution, right? Like all of you are able to appreciate this, or am I going too slow, or am I like spending so much time? What do you think? Or should I move a bit more fast?
Yes, sir.
I can move a bit more fast, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah. So this V of t is actually what E of tau into H of t minus tau d tau. That is actually what convolution integral, right? And our phi E of t is, what is phi E of t? Phi E of t is phi 1 of t minus phi 2 of t, right? So this is equal to, right, phi 1 of t minus, what is phi 2 of t in turn? Phi 2 of t, we have written it as actually what? 2 pi kV integral 0 to t V of tau d tau, right? We have written phi 2 of t as, please note it down along with me, right? So these things in textbook they have not given in this order, right? So please note it down. So this is again equal to phi 1 of t minus 2 pi kV. So if you substitute V of tau to be equal to this here, right? So this is V of tau. So here, wherever we do have actually what t, we should replace it with tau. So this is actually what in terms of tau only. So I can write it as, so integral say 0 to t, right? Integral 0 to t, integral minus infinity to infinity. V of tau is E of tau H of t minus tau d tau. This is actually what phi E of t, right? This is phi E of t. Now, if I differentiate it with respect to time, right? So this equation, if I differentiate with respect to time, what I'm going to do is this PLL is a closed loop system, closed loop negative feedback system. So any system I can represent using its integro differential equation, right? I can represent any system using its integro differential equation. You might have studied that while modeling mechanical system as electrical systems, right? Have you come across that in control system part? You might have, right? So now what I'm going to do is differentiating it with respect to time, right? So it will be d phi E by dt, d phi E of t by dt. This is equal to d phi 1 of t by dt minus, so what will happen if you integrate, this is actually what derivative of integral 0 to t. So the derivative and integral will get cancelled. So what we have is 2 pi kV integral minus infinity to infinity E of tau into H of t minus tau d tau. So this is the most important equation as far as PLL is concerned. If you understand this equation, then PLL is done. Right. Did you understand how we got till here? Right. I didn't want to hurry because actually what it's as it is an open loop system where we have phi 1 of t and phi 2 of t, difference of that phi e of t, and phi e of t depends upon v of t, and v of t is again a function of phi of t. It actually what it's completely interdependent. So whether till here is it clear how we got this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is actually what the integral differential equation, which describes the dynamic behavior of phase lock loop. So we can write this is the integral differential equation which describes dynamic behavior of PLL. So now what we can do is initially what we have seen is just a mathematical model of PLL, right? Now what we can do is with this equation, we can we can try and implement this integral differential equation. So what we have here is d phi e by dt. It is equal to what? Um, this integral e of tau into h of t minus tau d tau is nothing but what? This e of tau pass through h of t, right? E of tau pass through h of t, right? And what is this phi e of t? Right. So so initially I'll start with this phi e of t, right? So maybe I have a summing law to that one, and if I'm giving phi 1 of t, and to the other one if I'm giving phi 2 of t, right? So this is plus, this is minus. So what will be the output I'm getting? It will be phi e of t, right? That will be phi e of t, right? So now what actually is this v of t or e of t, e of tau? What is this e of tau? If you have written it, e of tau is nothing but what? Sine of phi e of t, right? Or km into AC AV sine of phi e of t, right? So this, if you take sine of this, sine of phi e of t, right? Of course, right? Only not only sine of phi e of t, we have to multiply it with say km AC AV. So did anyone write what is e of t? Can you just refer back and tell? Or e of
Km
t is
into km
km
into
into
AC into AV into sine phi e
sine
of
phi
t.
of t, right? Okay. So if you write km into AC into AV, km into AC into AV and into KV, right? Km into AC into AV into KV. I am writing it as K naught, right? So now with this I have to multiply something. With this I have to multiply actually what? 2 pi K naught. That is actually what? KV into KM into AC into AV. KV into AM into AC into AV. So along with that, I have added one more KV. Right, KV also added. So we will have to do something there, right? So now what I got is sine phi e of t is actually what? Sine phi e of t into 2 pi K naught. That will be equal to E of tau, right? So then what actually is this? This is a convolution integral, right? Which means E of t, if I pass through an LTI system, right, with impulse response h of t, this, if I pass through an LTI system with impulse response h of t, this integral is satisfied, right? This integral will be satisfied, right? So that, but this should be actually what? V of t. This should be equal to V of t, but we have an extra 2 pi kV here. So what I am doing here is, what I'm doing here is multiplying it with 1 by 2 pi kV. So what we are getting at output will be V of t, and this V of t, right? So from V of t, how can I get phi 2 of t? Can anyone tell me what is the relation between V of t and phi 2 of t? Phi 2 of t will be 2 pi kV into integral V of tau d, right? So if you integrate this integral 0 to t dt of this v of t, that will give you phi 2 of t. Right. So basically, we try to implement this equation, this integral differential equation, as a system. This is called nonlinear model of PLL. Right. In another 10 minutes, I'll wind up. Right. Nonlinear model of PLL. So what we have done is we have obtained this equation, integral differential equation, and this we have tried to come up with a system for this integral differential equation. Right. So what we have is this this term. This term is actually 2 pi kV into E of tau h of t minus tau d tau. Right. So E of tau and h of t minus tau is nothing but what? So here, what we'll be getting will be E of t into h of t. Right. That is passed on this integral. Right. Is obtained as a convolution integral. So this signal is passed through an LTI system. So this integral is taken care. Right. Then how to get phi? This E of t. E of t is nothing but what? Sine of phi of t, of course, with some coefficients multiplied, right? So sine of phi of t is nothing but what? E of t, right? This phi of t in turn will be obtained by phi 1 of t minus phi 2 of t, right? So phi 1 of t is nothing but what? It is 2 pi kf into integral 0 to t m of t. So that this is something which we have to actually what? Find out, right? So and this phi 2 of t in turn can be obtained from this v of t by integrating v of t, right, multiplied with 2 pi kv, right? So this is nonlinear model of, they used to ask this nonlinear model of PLL. So if you are asked to write nonlinear model of PLL, what you should do is you should obtain this integral differential equation, and from that you have to write this, right? And the question is, why is it called nonlinear model? The summation, it is actually what? Linear. Integration is linear, right? Multiplication is linear, right? Response of an LTI system is linear, but the presence of the sign of, right, sign of something. So this is actually the nonlinear part. This is actually the nonlinear part. As is sign of something is present, this is called actually what? Nonlinear model of PLL, right? So now from this, how to get linear model of PLL? We can approximate, right, to linear model of PLL. So initially the model which we have seen, a product, right, and a loop filter and a VCO, right? This was the our mathematical idea. If you have something like this, there will be sum and difference. If you suppress the sum, you will get the difference. Difference will have only what? Sine of phi 1 of t minus phi 2 of t, which is a required thing, right? Phi 1 of t has a required message information, right? So this was the mathematical model, and after, right, solving that, we got, this is how we can implement it practically, right? This is how we can implement a PLL practically, right? And from this, we can actually what? Come up with linear approximation. So this, we have sine of phi e of t, right? That is sine of phi 1 of t minus phi 2 of t, right? So when this phi 1 of t and phi 2 of t, they are very close to each other, right? When phi 1 of t and phi 2 of t are very close to each other, or this term, it tends to 0, what happens is, right, we have limit theta tends to 0, sin theta will be approximately equal to theta, right? So when theta tends to 0, when this phi e of t is very small, right? When this phi e of t is very small, when theta tends to 0, right? This sine of phi e of t can be approximated as phi e of t. So then what we can eliminate this nonlinear part in this, right? We can eliminate this nonlinear sine of from this. So then this model will get reduced to, I'll draw here, right? We have this sigma, sorry, right? So what happens is, except this sine part won't be there, remaining everything will be intact, right? So I'll draw it here. So this is what I'm going to discuss when theta is very small or phi of t is very small. Sine phi of t can be approximated as phi of t. So then we'll get a linear model of PLL. So linear model of PLL is, we have this sigma, here we have phi 1 of t, here we have phi 2 of t, so here we have phi e of t, right? Phi e of t, we don't have that sign part, it's directly getting multiplied with 2 pi k naught, where k naught is kV, AM, AC. I've written it earlier, right? So 2 pi k naught. Then this is passed through h of t, and right, finally this is multiplied with 1 by 2 pi kV to get V of t. And here, instead of VCO, we have actually what? Integral 0 to t, an integrator, right? So this is linear model of PLL. This is the basic idea of PLL, right? So using this, so the idea is, right, so we are getting phi 1 of t minus phi 2 when this difference is very small, right? When this difference is very small, so here we are getting phi e of t, right? That is actually what converts. So whatever this v of t, it will have message information. It will have message information. A detailed analysis I'm not actually what doing, right? But this is how you will use indirect method, right? This is how you will use indirect method. So, and what happens is in VCO, right? So in here, the some product module or the multiplier is replaced with actually what, sigma, right? And sorry, this was plus, this is minus. Multiplier is replaced with sigma, and loop filter is actually what, multiplication with 2 pi k naught and h of t. This is actually what our loop filter. This is our loop filter, right? And instead of VCO, we have this integrator. So this is linear model of PLL. So this non-linear model and linear model. So this is what does PLL. So maybe what you can do is, with, if you can write actually what you can from this expression, right? I'm not doing that actually. From this expression, right? You can find you can take a Fourier transform of this, right? Then you will get the relation between phi e of f, phi 1 of f, and this h of f and all, right? So that analysis, it's there in textbook, right? Those who are interested can read that. But this much if we can write, that would be more than sufficient. So if you see the model question paper, one question on PLL had come, right? So PLL, normally they used to ask basic principle of PLL, maybe applications, or linear and non-linear model of PLL, right? So these are the things, right? So okay, maybe that's it about PLL. Right, many people have left already, right?
Sir,
Yes, Abel, tell me.
if you have, sir, those vocoder materials,
Yeah, vocoder material. I'll just help you out with that also, right? So vocoder, if you see, it's not there in a textbook, right? But
yes,
if
sir.
you see the model question paper, vocoder question was asked, right? Basically, vocoder is nothing but what, voice encoding and decoding, right? So voice signal, you can encode it as into digital form, and you can playback it. So if you have used some, if you have done some project wherein, right, some voice instructions are there. Suppose a person, when he goes and stand in front, so press the red button, speaker will tell, right, or please enter, right? Those things. Okay. Right. So such things are actually what, using vocoder. So if you see your model question paper, that vocoder was there in your model question paper, right? So that's why I've shared that material. Maybe once again I'll share that. I'll stop sharing this screen, and I'll share the vocoder part. So are you, like, now will you be able to study this PLL?
Yes, sir. Actually,
What's
we
the,
have seen those professors' videos.
yeah,
Have written notes also. So
is
I
it?
was just referring that while you were explaining.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, fine. Yeah. Right. So maybe some of them didn't get time, so they might have asked me, but those people are not there here now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. And some other students came here. We had a offline session. Yeah. So now I'll help you with that vocoder also. That vocoder I just share the screen. You can expect this also, vocoder also for exam, can't tell. So are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. So vocoder basically it's actually what voice encoding and decoding in terms of digital format, right? And basically it works on the principle of formants, right? Formants in the sense even like our sound, as you know, it will have many components, useful and useless components will be there. This formants are actually what the meaningful characteristics or meaningful components of the speech, right? That is generated due to human voice. So it basically works on the principle of formant. So you can write what is vocoder, right? And it basically works on the principle of formants, right? So and one more thing which you need to know is in human voice, in our voice, we have two types of sounds. One is voiced sound and other one is unvoiced sound. So when you right say some words S, F, and all, so you are not using your vocal cord. You are just actually what using your lip, right, and control the flow of air, right. So such sounds are called unvoiced sounds, right. And another set of sounds which is produced by our vocal cord, that is actually called voice sounds, right. So in speech model or speech first initially we'll see a speech synthesizing model of vocoder, right. So we need to produce, right, a human voice will have voiced sound and unvoiced sound. Did you understand what is the difference between voiced and unvoiced sounds?
Yes, sir.
Right. So one is generated by vibration of vocal cord, and other one is actually what using our lip and like by controlling air. So we should differentiate between voiced and unvoiced sound. So in while generating voice, right? So from digitally stored data, right? So to generate voiced sound, we'll be using an impulse generator. Are you able to see my mouse pointer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can
Right.
see.
So impulse generator, and to produce unvoiced sound, you will be using a noise generator, right? And when I speak, there will be actually what voiced and unvoiced sounds coming together in between, right? So we should switch between voiced and unvoiced sounds. So for that, we do have a switch, which will actually what switch between voiced and unvoiced sound. And you can see a filter. This filter, what it does is it performs everything, whatever our vocal cord or air tract does to produce a sound, that function is to be performed by this filter. So this is a speech model of a vocoder. So initially you can write what is a vocoder, right? And you can write it works on the principle of formants, and you can write about voiced and unvoiced sounds, and you can write the speech model of a vocoder, right? Till here, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So speech model of a vocoder, right? So then what we have is, right, we have voice encoding and voice decoding. So first it is voice encoding. So how original speech signal is encoded as actually what digital signal. That is the first part, right? So if you see, right, our human speech will have frequency contents from 200 hertz to 3200 hertz, right? So 200 hertz to 3200 hertz. So that frequency range is divided into 15 different bands, right, of 200 hertz each. So for instance, one band is 200 to 400 hertz, other band is 400 to 600, like that. 15th band will be 3200, 3000 to 3200, right? So we have these frequency ranges divided into 15 different bands. So what will happen is the speech input is passed through band pass filters of these bands, right? Band 1, band 2, band 3. So these band pass filters will allow only those frequencies, right? So then what is happening is it will be passed through a rectifier followed by a low pass filter. What this rectifier does? So what we need is we need to convert this continuous signal into a digital level, right? So suppose, right, so this is some, right, a noise like signal, or you have seen a representation of speech signals, right? So it will be some irregular signal, right? So when you pass through a rectifier, what will happen? It will flip off the negative part, and when you pass it through a low pass filter, it will be actually what, maintaining it at some level, right? Rectifier followed by low pass filter. So each band will be passed through a rectifier followed by low pass filter. So what we'll get is, corresponding to these frequency components, I'll get some DC voltage. What are the DC levels of these frequency components I'll get? Yes or no? Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it's simple, a band pass filter, rectifier, and low pass filter, right? So we'll get some DC voltage, right? So that is one thing. So we are getting all different frequency contents. What are the frequency range? What are the amplitude range of different frequency contents, right? And one more is, this speech signal is passed through a frequency discriminator. Frequency discriminator, right? What it will do is, it can discriminate between frequencies. So, and it is passed through a low pass filter. So this will give you DC voltage proportional to voice frequency. What is the frequency of the voice? That information as such will be provided by this input. And what is the amplitude level of each frequency? That will be given by these bank of BPF, rectifier, LPF outputs, right? If you multiplex everything together, you will get actually what? Encoded voice signal. That is actually what? Encoded voice signal. So I'll just repeat: speech input, it is given to 15 bank of filters followed by rectifiers and low pass filters, which will give you DC voltage levels corresponding to what? Speech content of these frequency ranges, right? Then we need to know what exactly is a frequency range, right? For that, we are using a frequency discriminator, right? That will be given to low pass filter. So this DC output will be proportional to what? The frequency of speech. So these informations, these amplitude information and frequency informations, you encode together, you will get encoded voice signal, right? Then decoding, it's again simple. So in this encoded voice signal, if you remember, what we have is, we have amplitude information of different frequencies, right? And also we do have what is frequency as such of the voice, right? So these amplitude informations will be modulating actually what? Different frequency carriers. These are BM1, BM2, etc. up to BM15 are balance modulators, right? So those DC levels will be modulating these balance modulators. So this is nothing but what? Balance modulators are nothing but sinusoidal generators, right? Whose envelope will vary according, frequency is fixed. This BM1 will have frequency which is centered at 200 to 400. BM2 carrier will have frequency centered at 400 to 600, like that. But amplitude is decided by the DC level of this encoded signal. Already we found out what is the DC level corresponding to the band 200 to 400 up to 3000 to 3200, right? Then apart from that, we should also know whether the sound is voiced sound or unvoiced sound, right? For that, what we do is, we give these information, right, encoded voice signal, to the voice synthesizer part, right? It's given to a pulse generator, right? So this is the voice synthesizer part. I initially showed you the voice synthesizer part, right? So it's given to this. So it's given to a pulse generator. Pulse generator will produce actually what? Voiced sounds, and as noise generator will produce unvoiced sound. And depending upon it's voiced or unvoiced, that switch will control, right? So this part will tell whether it is a voice sound or unvoiced sound. So these two inputs, right, together will modulate these balance modulators. So these are actually what? Sinusoids. These band pass filters will limit the frequency. So when we add everything together, right, we'll have intensity and frequencies of the original sound, right? So that is produced, right? You can, if you give it to a speaker, this electrical signal, if you give it to a speaker, our original voice will be produced back. That is actually what? Vocoder. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's it. So this it's a very simple, actually what? Very simply they have given explanations. You can read this, right? And diagrams also are very simple. You can use this, right? So that's That's about vocoder. So I just wanted to discuss these two things. Right. Anything else? Any other doubt, Savan?
No, sir. That's it.
No, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So thanks for joining. Right. So maybe we'll just wind up. Right.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All the best. Start preparation for exam. Don't wait for the last moment. Right.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. If any doubt is there, you can just contact.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.